So we'll start. Okay, technical difficulties.
A master of suspense.
Yeah, that was completely unintentional. Okay, so the best way I can describe that door is it for such an expensive RV, the door looks like it wouldn't necessarily, it looks out of place, like it wouldn't go with that particular model. But the thing is, it also looks too small for the frame, yet also way too big.
I mean, Peter got to try that door.
Okay, so yeah, your hand touches it, and it opens. No, like spooky, woohoo, none of that stuff or anything.
Oh man!
Like the astronaut ghost from Scooby Doo doesn't suddenly jump out or anything.
Yeah, right. That being said, when you open it, it opens and you are basically in a church on the other side.
Just me?
The door is still behind you. And Beryl, you're looking through there as well, and I mean, it opens up into a church.
Well, that would explain it. There it is.
Beryl, dear, and because Peter's voice is muffled and he like rolls it up to his mouth, he's like, Beryl, dear.
Yes, Peter.
I'm in a church.
Yes, Peter.
Are you seeing a church?
I am, and I'm really trying not to panic right now. I don't want to run off on you, bud, but it's real weird.
Hang on. If you don't feel comfortable, I'll...
No. I don't want to close the door and then us get lost and never be able to come back out or something.
Fully understandable, dear. Fully understandable. Peter rolls the mask back down.
All right, I'm gonna make. I want to go and prop the door open, just so it doesn't slam shut or something. I have horrible, I'm very anxious all of a sudden. I'm just oh gosh.
Yeah, so here's the other thing, Peter, that you notice is that it opens up into a church, and you see daylight pouring, through the stained glass windows. But you're basically it's a very small, one of those old, the best way to describe it is an old-timey church. It's just the one single building, right. Except it's it's got fairly modern amenities. The stained glass windows look new. It's got a lamp there that's right next to you guys, which is at the entrance, and it's clearly powered by electricity. But you don't really you're at the entrance essentially, and into this one room. And the thing is, you can't really make out anything on the other end of the stained glass windows.
I mean, I'm gonna go in.
Okay. You go in. Again, no electric shock or anything.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm going in with the stance that Grandmaster Roscoe taught me, where I kind of have one hand on blade and I'm ready.
God.
So you're kind of doing that samurai shuffle in.
Oh yeah, no, it looks ridiculous if you're just watching it.
And so the thing that you notice about this church is everything seems, for lack of a better term, cobbled together. The stained glass windows, despite the fact that they all look modern, they all the art style varies wildly. One of them looks like something that you would have seen in a European Catholic cathedral. One looks like something that's maybe something that you would have seen in some about mid-range small town church kind of thing. It's not like any of the saints or anything. It's just something that they just thought looked pretty and churchy. None of the pews match in color, but they're all high quality wood. Yeah, it is a mishmash of just a bunch of different, very distinctly Christian iconography.
Okay. I mean, having recognized that, do I need? I assume my eye for the strange just can't do it back to back. So should I just investigate?
No, this is going to be honestly the rest of you. Anything else you do within that is that's going to the fact that you did Eye for the Strange, like if it's tied to supernatural, it's gonna affect that.
Okay, all right, I assume so. So I guess I'll head to where maybe the altar would be, like the very front.
Okay. Yeah. As you walk,
And I'm done with the fucking samurai stance. I'm just walking.
yeah, it's like okay.
Yes, this passed my eye test. Everything is calm.
Good job, Peter.
As you're walking, you notice that even like the floor and the walls don't necessarily match. Like the floor and the roof, to the best of your abilities, they seem to match in terms of like the color of the paint and the wood. But the walls seem to be from like 2 or 3 different places. Again, like it's all like really subdued churchy colors, like an off-white or like a really bright, almost really light rose-colored red kind of color. But yeah, like it's a hodgepodge. As you get to the altar, though, you do notice that there is.
Can I point out that while walking, Peters has his clam cell phone and is just like kind of taking pictures as best he can with it?
Roll wits and composure. -2.
I mean, look, I gave it so like where he wasn't carrying his big ass camera, so.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, -2. That is. Ooh, hang on. That's 3 successes.
Damn.
No.
When I'm not being beat up by kids, I'm doing great.
Yeah, the local high school toughs spring from the ceiling. No. Yeah. So you're taking the pictures from. You do notice no reception. Except sometimes you have reception. At least you think it's reception. Normally you got bars. Sometimes you got lines. Sometimes you got little circle dots. Your phone's doing all kinds of weird shit right now, but it's still taking pictures.
Okay. Still going towards that altar while doing that. Just wanted to point that out.
Okay. You get to the altar, and I mean it's a Bible. It is open to the book of Luke, and right next to the Bible is a very old animation cell of Donald Duck.
Yes, I fucking knew it.
Huh. Definitely a photo of that. Can I maybe... Is there anything immediately around me that seems unusual other than what you just described in front of me? Is there anything immediately around me?
All right, Chase, but what's weird?
like beyond what I just saw that's weird is one of the stained glass windows, like Yanni having a boxing match. Yanni having a boxing match with, like, I don't know, Rascal Flatts.
You're pulling Yanni into this, dude? Kudos, dude. That's awesome. Yanni gets...
I'm in a weird cobblestone church in, like, a fucking alternate dimension. I'm not putting anything to question here.
The Scandinavian, like, fusion artist fighting Rascal Flatts.
So, you do notice that... on the altar, like as you're facing back and you're actually looking at it, you do notice that the altar below has about 6 different electrical outlets on it. And like they're all arranged in a circle. And they're all different types. Like, some is just like, the standard one, some is like the 3-prong. And there's like what looks like something that would go cylindrical inside of it, like right in the center. And they all are like within like the cylindrical one, like you can make out blinking LEDs. Would you like to lean in and look into it?
Oh, no.
I mean, I almost feel like I'm being railroaded, but sure, why not?
No, nothing happens. You will say that. Sorry, I had to make you feel suspense. But no, nothing. I mean, other than the fact that it seems to go in deeper than like the altar. Yeah, like no snake jumps out and grabs you or anything like that.
No.
But I mean, so what you just described is kind of what I'm getting here, right? Like that's the weirdest stuff I'm seeing.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I think it's not a controversial thing to say that none of this makes a lot of sense.
No, not at all. So,
in fact,
Peter,
I was about to say, I think it's safe to say that you could make an integrity check right now. What's your integrity right now?
7.
Okay, so that'll be +2. Let me do a little bit of quick maths real quick. +2. So you'll automatically. What do you roll? I keep forgetting what you.
Jeb, I didn't.
Resolve and composure are integrity.
Resolve and composure. Let me do some maths real quick. +2 minus that. Resolve and composure +1 will be your integrity check, and you can't spend willpower to boost this.
Oh, that's fine, because I literally made Peter to be willing to understand, just accept the fucking craziest things ever. he's actually okay with a lot of stuff. Let's see. That is... Wow. All right. Give me 2 seconds.
Good wow or bad wow?
Good one. 4 successes.
Oh, damn!
Okay, so...
Stride.
He's like, not even that strange.
I
thought Yanni might be here.
Your integrity doesn't fall, but you do take a condition. We're going to say spooked. Spooked's always a good one to fall back on. One, because it's easy to do, because you can just, fuck the rest of y'all. I'm going to go off on my own. And also, I mean, I think that's fairly reasonable. None of this is it's fucking weird.
It's spooky.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's what you see.
Doing okay, Peter?
Peter rolls up the mask again, just like, Beryl!
Yes?
I found a Bible and a Donald Duck drawing. And a bunch of plugs. I've taken pictures.
Okay?
Do you take anything?
I don't know if I would take anything from this creepy ass place.
Okay, Beryl.
Yes.
Beryl.
Yes.
I'm coming towards you now. I just want to announce that very loudly.
Okay, I'm right here at the door.
Okay, so we're going to jump back to while that's going on. We're going to jump back to Jeb.
Real quick, just to keep our viewers at suspense, Peter rolls that mask back down. Just
of course.
Knew that would come up.
Gotta protect that mouth.
Jeb, so what all are you talking to with Pastor Freddy right now?
I think it'd just be talking like logistics, because if he likes the idea, which he seemed to imply, it'd be like, yeah, like the parking lot, you could do something out there. I mean, we could get I can literally build a small little stage. I have the lumber, so I could build a little stage. You could do something like that, or we could maybe do it inside. I could move some aisles around. I mean, it'd be a little bit of trouble, but I'm just bouncing off ideas here.
Well, in all honesty, Jeb, these sound fantastic, but it seems like it'd be an awful lot. If you don't mind me saying, honestly, I could get a couple of my younger congregation, and we could pull up one of our vans there, and I mean, I can buy supplies. That's not even an issue. But we could do a small set, as a very, very small stage. No, nothing too gaudy. I think you've seen enough of my operations. That's not how I operate. Yeah,
that's fine. And as far as supplies, if it's anything that O'Neill's has, I'm happy to provide that for the good of the cause. So don't mind that. But yeah, that'd be great. We could do it at nighttime when we close at about, depending on the day, either about 6 or 8. Maybe we just do it in the parking lot or something. Should be cool enough by then.
Can I ask you a question, Jeb? He says, as you guys are approaching, you've basically been just honestly meandering basically around the tree line. And as he says that, his hand comes down on your shoulder. Strong hand, big, strong hand.
It feels heavier than it should.
Yeah. It's the weight of ages on you.
Yeah.
He says, I realize you've seen some of the things I do, particularly with the more needy people of society. So I have to ask, and there's no wrong answer. Keep that in mind. Do you believe this?
Well, I'm I think naturally a skeptical person, but I usually give things the benefit of the doubt, and I kind of go with my gut. I'm a kind of an old school dude, just go with my gut, and I feel like this could be really something. I mean, I've only seen you do it twice, but it seems legit. I mean, I came back a second time, didn't I? And so I'm always a little skeptical, but I mean, I can't see how it's not real when I'm looking at it with my own eyes. Seeing is believing. So I mean, to answer your question, yes, I believe it because I'm seeing it, but I just don't know how. I mean, it's to be frank.
He chuckled. He goes, I don't get that.
Yeah, he's like, you will in time.
Why did you laugh?
And so, yeah, he goes, be frank. It's like I'm a little not scared, but it's just seeing something like that just kind of weird. If I don't mean to be too crass, it's just so bizarre. So that's the only thing I'm just kind of a little reserved on.
Because that's a fair answer. Honestly, I was the same way when I first saw the things that I can do now. It's scary. It's extremely scary. But I assure you, it is the work of the Lord. Sometimes, sometimes it's not pretty. I don't think you've seen some of my followers. You've seen their hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful. I remember when it happened to me, but it does eventually dry up. He says as he removes his own bandages. He's like, obvious, and shows it to you. He says, obviously, I don't like walking around and showing this to everybody, so I generally keep it covered. But that this is what they're hoping to get at some point.
And I don't mean to dive too deeply, but you said when it happens, what is it that they do? Unless that's like a secret for your practitioners or apprentices only. But I mean, I'm just curious.
He goes, well, at some point, some of them they see the ways of God. That's really the only way I can put it.
And they start bleeding from their palms.
Some of them do. Most of my congregation does. Back when I was first being taught, there was a girl who she'd cry blood.
Oh goodness.
Yes, that was. He says that one was quite terrifying. It was something. It was really hard to get over. I've seen that. I've seen people get brands appear on their skin. I've seen all kinds. The power of the Lord hits people different ways, but generally the most common one is what most people think of when they think of stigmata.
Wow, that's.
But that being said, if it's all right with you with this little thing that we're doing at your workplace, he's like, which by the way, I'm most appreciative. If we can get more people knowing, that's even better. The more people knowing, the more good can be spread, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
I'm not going to have the ones showing the signs, the bleeders. I'm not really going to have them out in public, and I hope you understand why.
Yeah, they can definitely pull some unwanted attention or unsavory attention. So yeah, I understand that. It could be just a simple thing. It doesn't have to be the whole enchilada like you do out here.
He goes, and that's exactly right. He's like, I'm not a dumb man. I know that even though I have the things I put on the website. Some of it is a little off-putting. Some people believe it's quackery. He's like, I understand that. And he says as he starts to head back towards the RV, at which point Beryl, you get a text message, and Frank is letting you know, the chicken is coming home to roost. That's all it says.
Peter, we gotta go. Peter, we gotta go.
Yeah, but no, Peter was already coming your way.
All right.
He decided not to take or mess with anything.
Hurry.
Okay. as you guys, you're leaving. We're going to say make one final stealth check, Beryl.
Okay.
Got this, girl.
Burn that willpower.
Yeah. Can I burn willpower?
Yes, you can burn willpower.
Okay. All right.
I rolled a 4 to identify a Donald Duck drawing. You can do this.
How you can miss the Donald Duck animation cell, but all right. Nope. 1-9. Okay.
So as you were leaving, Peter,
Peter puts the lampshade on his head.
Yes. No. So as you're leaving, as you shut the door, you notice you start to hear static. And yeah, as obviously that catches your attention coming back in from the chapel area. You notice that the entire area, like the walls, essentially start to get covered in snowy static. And the altar itself starts to glow a bright yellow.
Okay. I mean, other than looking at it or taking a picture of it, I have no idea what to do with this information, but...
Convey it later.
Well, the thing is, you notice that as it's doing that, one of the church pews basically like fades out of existence and another one is replaced. On top of the Bible, a small Donald Duck toy appears, and yeah, and as the door shuts, yeah, that's pretty much the last thing you see.
I believe he's using rainbows and toys and altering reality. Now, you know what? Let's get out of here. I don't have time.
Let's go. We gotta go. This shit's too weird.
All right. Yeah, you guys, and yeah, your roll was successful. You get back in the woods. Frank, go just ask real quick. Just nothing too deep, but we find anything interesting?
I think I entered an alternate reality where there's a church that's maybe plugged in to the Skunk Ape Church in the woods, and Donald Duck drawings. And I need to go pick up my car?
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You guys skedaddle back through the woods. At which point, yeah, pretty much as you guys are heading out, Jeb and Pastor Freddie are getting
active.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, panning back. You guys are pretty much back at the front of the RV, and he goes, Jeb, you're an interesting fellow. Usually it takes, even after seeing a couple of our little shows, it usually takes people a little bit to be warmed up to the whole idea of what we do.
Well, I mean, again, I told you I'm a skeptical person, but it's one of those things that I kind of dive into things and figure out if it's legit or if I like it or if it's for me, and that's how I do things. I kind of just jump in. I don't.
Party again.
It's the church. I see a Donald Duck.
A little bit of a wrong button was pushed there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, he's like, well, there's one other question I'd like to ask you, Jeb.
Yeah, of course.
A question about some of the locals here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really familiar.
So I used to be from the area. It's been several years since I've been back, but I've noticed as I came back, I mean, in the past, there's been a new establishment that's appeared that I'm not so certain about it. Got a little bit longer, and then my battery's going to die. So I'm wrapping it up. He's like, so there's some gentleman in the town running some kind of Bigfoot museum.
I believe it's the Great Skunk Ape Migration. Mm-hmm.
Subtle.
He goes, well, whatever it is. I mean, I imagine you know the name because, I mean, it's incredibly bizarre and doesn't really speak very highly of, the locals here, if they believe such things.
Yeah, even out-of-towners know about it, so I hear a lot of talk about it in the show.
So, I guess my point is, I would like to ask a favor of you. You know, since you're wanting to help me, get this out. I was wondering if I can help you. Also bring in a little bit of business since I have as you see the crowd I have here. I can bring in some money to your store. I would very much like for you to find some kind of information on that gentleman. I mean, it's nothing you necessarily have to do, but I'd very much like to find out information about this man.
Okay. I think I'm picking up what you're laying down. Just kind of like where he's from, what he's about. I mean, is there anything in particular? I mean, you can shoot straight with me.
Pretty much anything. Where he's from, what his deal is, pretty much. I think if you could get me that kind of information, that'd be good. I'll get in touch with you later in the week. One of my disciples, they'll get in touch with you.
Okay, yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I'll figure something out. Y'all know where to find me.
He's like, he laughs and says, "Indeed, we do."
Jeff feels a little uncomfortable about how he said that. He's like, okay, all right, yeah. Well, thanks for letting me talk your ear off. It's nice chewing the fat with you, but I'll let you go and just be in touch.
Of course, it's always good finding someone else, seeing that there is goodness in the world. And he reaches out and grabs you by the hand, and yeah, same thing. Big giant mitt.
It's a gorilla.
Gorilla mitt, but that freaking it doesn't. It still doesn't
feel
good. Yeah.
I mean, I assume he wrapped it back up, right? It wasn't just like,
no.
Hey, let me shake. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a power move. It's a power move.
In the nude.
He reaches over and adjusts your tie for you. It's all a power move.
Yeah.
We'll jab right out, Peter. Will Peter get his car back from Grandmaster Roscoe? Tune in next week.
Oh, God, it's awesome.
Wow.